Aloha! We traversed overnight around the south part of the island, made our way past a bright red-orange lava flow and got over to the small town of Kona. The flag was mounted on deck as a reminder today was the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. The ship's staircases were covered at each floor with big murals. Not enough docking availability in the small port for the big cruise ship meant boarding a small shuttle boat, which carried about 50 passengers at a time. We had no specific plan in mind, just to relax and enjoy whatever this side of the big island had to offer. We were greeted on shore by an onslaught of tour vans, sightseeing guides, taxis, and the sights, smells, and sounds of the small village of Kona. It was here we met our guide for the day, Don. He was waiting for a Japanese family and asked us to come along. For a mere $35 per person would guarantee we would see sights nobody else could show us. We wanted a laid-back day, and Don promised to get us back to board the shuttle over to the cruise ship in plenty of time. Don lived in Hilo and made the trip over as he was familiar with the cruise ship's routine schedules. Don used a headset microphone and loved to talk. He explained the area, prices of many homes and lots that were for sale. As we drove along the coastline, we asked about the big decorative gates. He brought us by one that the guy spent over 6 months and over $100,000 to make. As we went by beaches, Don pointed out a corkscrew tree. We went to a nearby dollar store and bought pretzels and crackers for the trip. Many homes had incorporated solar panels. We stopped at an overlook. He reached down to the ground, picked up and handed us a fruit called noni. It really stunk, but he said as bad as it smelled, many liniments and lotions included as part of the herbal remedies that natives use, and to look for it if we went to a store. He showed us bigger stores and how traffic patterns developed since they came in, bringing in new roads and then brought up volcanoes. We drove by the power station with some arrays of solar panels. The next stop was some lava tubes. We stopped and got out. The huge and now dormant volcano called Mauna Loa on this side of the island left hundreds of open-ended lava flows.
Well, I passed over it up on the hill over here, and it starts way up there. It goes around from Blue Hawaii. It comes over from this part of Mauna Loa. This is the end.
And that you can just go right through there. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
But they were afraid they were gonna pretty much just go and take every of all our natural resources.
Oh, Sure,
You want
sure.
to take them back to Oahu to build.
Don explained how the state enlisted contractors to put new roads along them, but even the weight of the bulldozers broke through in too many places and soon abandoned their efforts along here. Don appeared to be getting a little nervous. He said other people liked to follow him and find out where he brought his tours, and he wanted to keep these secret spots to himself. Here we see the top of Mauna Loa and the lava mound of its last eruption. We went along the coast to a beach resort complex. It was hard for us to feel that Christmas was approaching. Don explained that they import palm trees from other parts of the island to this area at a cost of about $10,000 each. The ocean is separated from a small inlet by a walkway. Inside the alcove, hundreds of smaller fish slip through the grates and grow big. Don showed me a young barracuda, too small to eat any others, but when fully grown, would have no trouble eating any of the size that are inside the alcove now. This is A Bay. Just out past the corner is a good surfing spot. Don told me stories of some of the premier surfers like Kelly Slater having escapades out in the water. More noni. Don made sure to tell us about the famous legend of the half-flower. I asked if Hawaii grew any hot peppers. Sure enough, they have small ones. They grow up instead of hanging down. They're pretty hot too. Oh, back to the stores. Here we all watch Koi Rise, and Don brought the crackers he bought earlier to feed these guys.
I'll throw a couple more of those in there.
Yep. There's some black ones come up from underneath. And
I'll show you sharks and dolphins too. Oh, here comes a big one. Whoa. It looks like one. It looks big.
We went to visit a nearby Hilton hotel. Don said people should go to this place for $160 a night instead of fancy expensive hotels in town, as it had a lot to offer. Here was a large array of culture and sights. Even a monorail goes around the resort. On our way back to the cruise ship, Don slowed down to note the golden trunk of a famous tree. At our last stop, another park, Lisa was excited to be able to see a whale surface that made her trip. Back on board the ship, we had a long journey to our next port on Kauai.